So welcome to Strictly Businews. I am Alfonso Santaniello. We have a first-time guest, maybe 1 year new to Western Mass?
Almost 1 year.
Almost 1 year. Yeah. We have the new executive director, right? Is that the official title?
That is the official title.
Of the Springfield Symphony Orchestra, Audrey Szychulski. I got it right.
You got it completely correct. Yes.
Holy crap! I got it. It only took about a year of me working with you to like.
Can you spell it?
No. It'll be spelled correct like right here. Other than that, no.
Yeah, this time there's been only 2 vowels. Very confusing. Yes.
The other blonde on the side of me is Cori Bishop, because last time I called her Veteramo, but she's no longer a Veteramo.
Yeah, well, I haven't changed my name yet, so.
Well, it's officially on Businews, so it's
legally. It's official then.
And then it's legally correct, I guess.
Screw Social Security.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So is Gus still a Veteramo too?
She's going through a name change as well, yes.
So we have a lot of good topics. First up, UMass is coming into downtown Springfield, into Tower Square, and they are, workers are transforming the whole building. They took over kind of the second floor, where the food court is area, and they're building it out where if you overlook, it's kind of looking to the front of Main Street, over like Nouveau Bank kind of area.
I walked past their entryway yesterday. It was beautiful. That's already done.
Oh yeah, they're moving quick. Well,
yeah.
If you're a school, most schools have money, so you can bang it out. But the space is most recently was used for Babson Capital, but they owners of Babson is one of the backers for the UMass project, so they actually moved out of the space so they could put UMass in there. I mean, between UMass, Cambridge College moved in maybe a year, a little over that ago. Who else is moving downtown? College-wise. Bay Path University, duh.
University, yes. Right
yeah,
now.
they're just building it. How did I not? Sorry, Beta. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. No, everyone. I remember 2 years ago, there was like no school's ever going to come downtown. No one's going to ever do anything. Now we have multiple schools, and now we have more of them wanting to come down. And I think UMass and Bay Path being in the forefront. Who knows if Western New England or AIC are going to think about putting not necessarily campuses, but something downtown.
Satellite locations. Yeah. They're really hitting the ground running.
That was so cheesy.
You guys will find out later.
So originally, you're from Pennsylvania, right?
Correct, originally.
And there's downtowns in those areas?
Yes. I'm originally from Philadelphia. There's definitely a downtown.
Okay. So out of being new to Western Mass, having colleges, and and I would like to think Springfield is like the capital of Western Mass, as much as people north of the Tofu Current don't believe that. What do you see as a difference? I mean, you came in and there was no universities down here, maybe just Cambridge College.
Was the only one.
And they probably just moved in, but now there's more coming in. Is there a difference you see from Pennsylvania to here? And
yes, and it's great. So I'm originally from Philadelphia. My master's degree is also from a school that is in downtown Philadelphia. My master's is from Drexel University, which is also directly across the street from the University of Pennsylvania. So there are 2 colleges that has 20, 30,000 people. So it's the sort of thing where you continuously see people on the street, which I think that Springfield is really in need of more people on the street. So I think that's a very healthy thing that we're bringing more people down. And I really hope that more of the businesses around will start to step up with things that will attract people to stay downtown. I've also recently been asked to sit on a committee for the BID, the Business and Development District, promoting the Cultural Arts District in coordination with the Downtown Dining District. So I think that we can look for, as there's more people flowing downtown, that businesses really are interested in reacting and giving them more things to do. And referencing, I move around a lot, as Alfonso knows, one of the other places I worked before in upstate New York, Corning, New York, there's a great example of a town that only has 20,000 people, but has so much to do downtown that the streets are always completely packed with people just walking, from restaurant to shops to various things. So I think if in coordination with these colleges, Springfield can really become successful if we give people more reasons to stay downtown.
Yeah,
exactly.
I agree.
Just stay away.
Exactly. Yeah.
Before the next topic, one quick thing: you're just being reactive. I think a lot of businesses downtown need to be a little more proactive
I would
in
agree with that
getting
one.
people down here instead of waiting for people to get down here. Only because there's people saying they won't go to Springfield because they don't think anything's going on, or they don't want to get hurt or whatever.
Well, and weird safety concerns. And so I can say this because I just moved this weekend. So I just moved from Longmeadow to Springfield, and I get these like weird reactions when I say things like that. They're like, "Wait, you moved from Longmeadow to Springfield?"
Isn't it usually the other way around?
Yeah. Well, and then I'll say I moved to like Hill McKnight, and then I either get like, "Oh my God, those houses are beautiful," or "Oh my God, you're going to get shot." So it's this like very weird. And again, being from Philadelphia, living like in the New York City area before, Springfield is perfectly fine. You need a little street smarts
The
to
thing
really
is,
walk.
a lot of things
Yeah.
that happen in Springfield is when people are getting into trouble themselves, and
At
then the
inappropriate
traditional media
hours,
then
yeah.
goes and films there in front of Mass
At
Mutual
inappro-
Center and has nothing to do with Mass
But
Mutual
part
Center.
of why I moved from Longmeadow to Springfield was as a unmarried, person with no children. I wanted to be by where there was more to do, and that just doesn't exist necessarily in Longmeadow.
Yeah. Next topic, the 12 most overused buzzwords. I saw this article. I thought it was hilarious because I use a good
You do.
portion of them.
Yeah.
I wasn't asking anything of Peanut Gallery. I was hoping it was like, no, Al, you don't. You're fantastic. So I'm gonna go.
That's because you use the words doesn't mean you're not fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Well, some of them were like good words that they had bad definitions of them.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'll go through the 12 most overused business buzzwords, and then we can kind of go through whichever ones we think are the best. Number 1 is hit the ground running. Number 2, visionary. 3, thinking outside of the box. 4, innovate. 5, influencers. 6, pivot. 7, paradigm shift. 8, engagement. 9, value add. 10, pre-revenue. 11, growth hacking. And 12, game changer. I've been called a few of these, and I've been called a few things worse.
Yeah.
I thought pre-revenue was kind of ridiculous.
Pre-revenue, I've never really heard.
I've
Seen it in like text, but I've never heard it.
I think it depends on the industry that you're in too. Some of these, I think, you find just in any corporation or maybe in small businesses. But then you take the industry that you're in, and I think that applies as well.
For me,
I hear think outside the box, hit the ground running, game changer a lot.
Yeah, I would say I hear think outside the box a lot, but most of the time nothing's really outside of the box.
Well, and then value add to me was a weird one, like added value, sure, or perks, but I think that was completely different things than what they're trying to talk about.
Yeah, value add said I'm providing a service or a product or good that is useful to
Yeah,
you.
see, we use value add a lot.
Real? Oh, at Lego?
Mm-hmm. Because we talk a lot about value-added services, so is it a value add? That's always the question, especially when we talk about continuous improvement ideas. Is it a value add? Is it not? And then, kind of gets thought about.
Well,
but.
and I think there's a huge difference between a value add and like a perk.
Mhm.
So at work, Springfield Symphony, so one of the things we've been talking about is the difference between buying like single tickets or buying group tickets. Like you have a group of like 15 or more people, it might even just be 10 or more people as I say that, I should check that fact. But you get like a discount for buying as a group, and then we also give you additional perks like the ability to like have a pre-concert reception or like a meet and greet with a soloist.
Yeah.
So there's a complete difference than, hey, we have a good product and we're actually going to give you extra things.
Yeah.
Right.
So like some of them, the definition is.
I mean, like pivot. I think I heard it once, but I think the most of the times I've heard it is when the rerun on Friends when they're trying to move the couch up the stairs and they're
Yes.
screaming pivot.
Pivot.
Yeah. Other than that, I've really never heard that one be used. Influencers, I've heard. Innovate, I've heard.
Innovate is definitely overused.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially now in Western Mass.
And I liked what they said about that word. It kind of, I think it was that one about, or maybe it was engagement. It almost discounts
Yes.
what when you use words over and over and over again, and especially
It
when
dilutes
it's
the meaning.
a compliment to someone, it totally dilutes the meaning.
So you called me awesome for the first time ever. It didn't dilute anything. Thank you.
You're welcome.
She'll never call me that again. Growth hacking, I've never really heard. Game changer, I've heard, but I feel like game changer is kind of like old school type of
Agreed.
lingo. I don't know if it's maybe coming back, but I know I've really never called anyone a game changer.
Well, and I guess part of my issue with the phrase game changer is nowadays, for a business to be successful, it has to be so diverse that one thing isn't really a game changer anymore.
No.
You have to change like 5 things. There's no one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
again, and it depends on, because totally depends on the industry, I think.
Great. Next up, Springfield Museum. Sure. Anyway.
Great. Next topic.
Springfield Museums chosen for Assessment Program. They've been selected to participate in the Museum Assessment Program, which is funded by the Federal Institute of Museum and Library Science. I guess only 6% of the museums in the whole U.S. get chosen for this, and Springfield did, which is awesome. So basically, under the program, they advance the best practices and fosters improvement in the museum in of itself. Most of the museums are eligible for participating in the program, including focus on the art, history, science, technology, children, history, which I think Springfield pretty much encompasses all of that, especially with Dr. Seuss, which I don't know, but I heard they're trying to make a whole Dr. Seuss museum in and of itself.
Oh, I have not heard that yet.
I don't.
That'd be so cool.
I probably spill the beans, and I probably shouldn't
Yeah,
have.
whoopsies.
Well, I don't know anyone in Springfield Museum, so I don't know. But I've heard that through the grapevine.
Yeah.
I know
So,
that's
which I
really
think would
valid.
be great. So this is really cool. Congratulations to the Springfield Museums. I think this is a great opportunity for the museum, but also to also put Springfield on the map.
Yes. I think that Kay and Holly, Kay Simpson and Holly Smith, Kay being their vice president, who actually, you would know her husband if you don't realize it, is John Simpson, and also we're in 1350 and 1350, the 9th floor art gallery. Yes.
Did not know
Yes,
that.
and then also Holly Smith, their president. I think they do a fantastic job of making the Springfield museums just wonderful and amazing. I think they're so undervalued for being as fantastic as they are for a city this size. I know, and again, I travel around a lot. I went for the first time this past winter to see the end of the Fakes and Forgery exhibit and also the start of steampunk. And what ended up being my favorite was the flower exhibit going on at the same time. And it was florists from all over our region who had created displays to mimic pieces of art within the museum.
That's
And
really cool.
it was very cool.
Yeah.
My favorite was actually the one imitating an oriental rug, which I wouldn't normally say. Or some of them had a play on the colors versus a play on shapes, and I think that they do a really wonderful job of trying to highlight the diversity in art, but then also of having the Lyman Wood Museum, which is all about just the history of Springfield. They really do try to have something for everyone.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me that they're going a step further to do something national just to bring more attention to what the museums do.
I'm just glad they're being recognized for.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I personally and unfortunately have not gone there for years, which that will change. But every time it's not like you go in, it's the same thing all the time. They keep changing it, and
Yeah.
it's seasonally, and they have the regular museum
And it's
exhibit,
wonderful.
but they also have the
Yeah.
seasonal stuff that changes. So there's definitely reason to go and check out whatever's going on at their website.
Yeah, I'm just happy that they're getting more heightened awareness in the local area, because when we talk about
Yeah.
what is there to do, just a little bit of PR goes a long way.
I mean, the biggest thing for me is, what if the casino doesn't come to Springfield? I feel like a lot of people are relying on that, but there's also a lot of other stuff going on that this is a great thing that's happening for Springfield that has nothing to do with the casino
Totally
at
agreed.
all. So casino come in or not, this is just good PR for the city altogether.
So while I'm proud that I've gone to the museums, what I really wish I had done, and I don't know if either of you have ever done, is their first Thursday culture and cocktails. Have either of you ever
My
gone?
in-laws have.
I hear
Yes.
such fantastic things about them.
Yes,
You know,
they had a
again,
great time.
yeah, example of what the museum is doing to make it seem like every day. And they
Yes.
also have a huge lecture series. I know we're getting involved with Kevin, and then also one of our guest artists, Sarah Davis Buchner, at one point in time, coming next season to speak. They really do so much to have something for everybody.
How much did they pay you to say that? No, I'm just kidding.
I just happen
I'm
to
just kidding, I'm just
Holly
kidding.
and Kay, and occasionally have lunch with them. So yeah.
No.
I hope
yeah.
they're saying nice things about the symphony right now. So yeah.
I'm sure they are.
I'm pretty sure they're commenting under this YouTube saying no. Lastly, locally grown foods are looking to bigger impact, looking towards bigger businesses. Basically, and I don't know, I feel like it started over the course of 5-10 years. Everyone's shopped local, and then it kind of got into agriculture. People wanted locally, between farm share or growing their own. In the last several years, it's really gotten up, and now it's, for a lot of people, it's turned into a business, and how it's really, they're looking no longer to do it for the mini stands. They're looking to go to the produce stores and really go big. Locally, I mean, there's a lot of great food shares. There's a lot of great organizations that are available. I mean, luckily my parents are Italian and they have a lot of stuff in their backyard, so that's my food share. But I mean, there's a lot of good ones that I know. Like our friend Jess is a part of one. There's a lot of people I know that are part of different food shares, and I think this makes complete sense.
Oh, I completely agree. I was a member of a food share in Erie, PA, where I was before this for 2 summers. And it was overwhelming at times. Like I remember the first summer I paid, it was like $200 for a half share for the entire summer. And every single week on Thursday, I would go and pick up a bag of vegetables. And it's, of course, like seasonal what they're. So at one point in time, it was like 3 types of. It was like going with your reusable shopping bag and having 2 of them completely full with vegetables for $200. And it started in July. It went all the way to Thanksgiving, the one that I had. Like at one point in time, I was bringing home like a dozen ears of corn every single week, and it was overwhelming. So my second year, which of course was like during part of the time I moved here, like I had gone down to a quarter share. So the one thing I wish was that more places in Western Mass cater to the smaller portions. Because again, as someone that does not have children, it's too much food for me.
Yeah.
I think that more people get involved. It was, of smaller portions.
But $200 is so reasonable, even if you were to share that with.
I can spend $200 in Costco before I even walk through the door.
Oh yeah, I moved over the weekend and was like replenishing my food supply and spent almost $200 just trying to get my fridge up to par.
Yeah. And produce in general is always more expensive.
Oh, and it was amazing, like the amount of like summer squash, zucchinis, the corn.
Yeah.
At one point in time, it was $5 for like a Xerox box full of tomatoes. And then I had taken that and figured out how to make salsa and like tomato sauce. But the amount, and I ate so healthy because of all the food that was available. It was fantastic. And there was also, I remember my ex and I used to play the game, like, what the heck vegetable is that sort of thing? Because occasionally something would come and I'd have no idea what it was. Like, we'd be just staring.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a card game. I didn't.
No, like, what the heck kind of vegetable? Like, I remember there was one, I was like, what is this? And he was like, brain tumor? So sometimes you're just like, I have no idea what this is.
I've never participated in one, but I think what has always steered me away is knowing the amount of.
Yeah.
And my husband doesn't really eat vegetables.
It's probably,
So I would be in that same boat,
I mean, it's funny. We were talking about how they're looking to get bigger business, but at the same time, a lot of the local farms, I feel like they've been growing in business in and of themselves. Like they're now, especially locally and maybe within Western Mass, maybe other within the country, a lot of bigger organizations are actually not. They're actually specifically going to local markets for food. So hospitals and what do the articles say? Hospitals, schools, restaurant chains, grocery stores are actually going to their local markets instead of going through mass distributors, which A is great for the economy, but also healthier for the people eating the food.
I know at one time, and I know there's at least one in Western Mass. When I was in upstate New York, and then again when I was in Erie, Pennsylvania, there were Wegmans. And they actually boast that all of the vegetables are locally grown. Like, they're very big on finding a local farmer, which is so nice.
Yeah.
Because, it's the big guy giving back. And then at one point in time when I was in Connecticut, we of course had Stu Leonard's, which was a locally grown farmer that turned into a supermarket because he was so successful in what he did. It's also the only supermarket I'd ever been to where they had like a petting zoo with cows outside of the supermarket.
Wait, really?
Yeah. So,
they actually did my flowers for my wedding.
Yeah.
They're phenomenal.
Which is a little funny because they're like on Route 1, so you're like, please don't let the cow ever get out. Please don't let the cow. Yeah. Like
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Audrey, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Cori, thank you for reading the topics. You did, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Well, I was waiting for Comcast.
We will be right back. We are actually talking to Jill for the Springfield Jazz Festival that's happening in a couple weeks, so stay tuned. Welcome back. I am here with Jill Monson-Bishop. Jill, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
We're here to talk about the Springfield Jazz Roots Festival that's happening August 9th.
August 9th. It's a Saturday free.
Free? Okay, so for the viewers that don't know exactly what it is, what is the event?
The Springfield Jazz and Roots Festival was a brainchild of Kristen Neville and Evan Plotkin. Kristen Neville is the presenter with her organization Blues to Green, and it is in downtown Springfield on Court Square. Oh. So the backdrop is going to be the old Elm Street Hotel.
Nice.
And we are going to take over Court Square, and Klondike Sound is doing the sound, and he is like top notch. Like, he does the New Orleans Jazz Festival.
Wow.
He does some of the other major jazz festivals around the country. So we've got like big time production going into this.
So this sounds like it's more than two-person operation. Who's involved in it?
It's 422 people. No, I actually have my list because I didn't want to forget anybody. The Springfield Business Improvement District, of course, downtown.
Yeah.
They're very heavily involved in making sure that we have everything we need to put the event on. I mentioned Evan Plotkin, his team, Jen Kiley, Greg Jones, who's awesome, Alex Wise and Jeff Martell, Shannon Plaquette, who's a new gentleman I've been getting to know through this. He's a local guy and he's just so funny. He does a lot with Theodore's. Melanie Athena, she's been excellent with kind of corralling all of our sponsors. And then the infamous Peter Newland of the band Fat. Peter is just, I have never met somebody who's as dynamic as Peter. He's awesome. Greg Caputo, legendary musician, Susan Alston, and then Shane Brunette, Jim Argiro, who's another local musician, and Daryl Moss from the city of Springfield. So we have a huge committee, and I probably missed people, so if I missed you, I'm sorry. But there's like so much effort going into this.
That's great. I mean, so it's free to the public.
Right.
How are you, are all 422 of you are the ones like putting this
We all
on?
put $1 in. No, I'm very wealthy. I put $1. No, we all obviously contributed what we could through services or financially, but we really had some generous sponsorship, and we couldn't have done it without our community. First and foremost, MGM and Mass Mutual. So they both stepped up, and
Nice.
Mass Mutual in the biggest way. And Nick Finterlakis and the gang there, thank you. They always have the community's back, and that's why Mass Mutual is so important to our community. And then some of our other larger donors, and please understand, if you go on the website, there are many, many donors, but I just wanted to mention a couple of our top ones. Mass Live and the Republican, NAI, Plotkin, Mercy Hospital, and the Sisters of Providence, and NEPR, New England Public Radio. So it was awesome. Everybody really stepped up.
Nice. So you mentioned the website. What is the website if they want to get more information?
SpringfieldJazzFest.com. And can I just mention the music real quick?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't cutting you off. Oh, no. You mentioned it. I'm like,
you were going to try to cut me off?
please. We all know that's not going to happen.
The music is what blows my mind. I mean, we're not just like, it's not just a local little like ditty. It's like big time. So I mentioned Kristen Neville. Well, Kristen Neville's husband happens to be Charles Neville, who is a legendary jazz musician, part of the Neville's brothers. Our generation grew up probably with Aaron Neville, who's one of the brothers. Charles is another brother, and he's such a sweet man. And he's going to play actually with his daughter's band, the Charmaine Neville Band. So it's a real family thing.
Yeah,
so,
that's really cool.
Yeah, so they'll be there. And then Phil Woods, who was local in this area, has now moved away, but he's known as Springfield Jazz. He's going to be here with a special guest, which is the Greg Caputo Big Band.
Yeah.
And also Grace Kelly. And this woman is, she's banging. Her musical ability. She has this picture. She's on this beautiful saxophone, and to see a woman play a horn is an incredible experience. So she'll be here, and she's young, and she brings this vibrant energy with her that's really cool. And the Alex Sneidman Trio, Chichito Valdez Quartet, so we can get a little of our Latin flavor in there, especially in this community. I think it was really important that we show diversity.
Absolutely.
And that we have Jessica Freeman and also the Argiro Quintet. So.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really, Al, the thing I want people to know is it's a family event.
Yeah.
And it's a family event for every family. It doesn't matter what your race is, what your age is, what your sexual orientation is. If you like food, there's going to be food from, we've got Vietnamese food. We're talking to somebody from Thai food. We've got Puerto Rican food. So there's going to be,
I'm hungry.
It's all going to be there in one place in downtown Springfield. So, as I like to say, hashtag pass on the positives.
Absolutely. Jill, thank you. Any last...
Did you actually need to interview me? I could have just done
I know.
this.
Do you have any last words for the viewers?
Yes, I do. Be there. Please be a part of this, because if we're all a part of the change of the city of Springfield, then good things are going to continue to come. So please be there Saturday, August 9th. We'll see you downtown Court Square for the Springfield Jazz Roots Festival.
We'll see you there.
Thanks, Al. Oh, the Creative Strategy Agency is live tweeting all day. Duh. Thanks, honey.
No problem. See you guys.